Hello, everybody. This is Leah Fresh Astrology, and we're going to look at February 2020. And I'm joined today by Mimi.
Hello.
And Carolyn.
Hello.
These are my colleagues and co-founders from Camille, the coaching company where we develop events and courses and programs for women pretty much in midlife for the most part, although the programs are effective toward all ages, but we focus on women in midlife.
Especially in transition.
In transition, right. So they're here to help think about and strategize with you on, given the astrology of February, what could you do for yourself? What tools might be available to you that we have for free? You know, we're willing to give away freebies. So we're not looking for you to buy something that you can buy our stuff, but we have a lot of free content that we want to share. And just to strategize, like how might you start to take control of your life? So you're not just waiting to see what the astrology does or caught, kind of flat-footed with the astrology. Yeah. So hi, Jennifer, I see you're here. Thank you for being here. So let's look at the astrology first.
So she's the double Libra and Scorpio rising.
Ooh,
so
okay.
we're all about Jennifer this hour.
Yes. So here we go. The intensity of the past couple of months and really the past decade has been building in this area to do with the third house. So this part of the chart is symbolic for several different areas of life. It has to do with school for sure, with especially over the past 3 years. There's a lot of school and learning, tough lessons. The school of life may have felt a little hard over the last 3 years. And about a decade ago, something happened where this, especially like if you have a child in school, that's what pops into my mind. About a decade-ish ago, maybe you realized they had some learning difficulties or something was going on there where the child needed more help. That's one tiny possibility. Of course, it's not going to apply to all Scorpios, but that's one way this could have played out. It's also possible that at some point over the past decade, relationships with your siblings really started to break down, or with your family members because of the way you communicate and think. And this could have been a real puzzle for you because maybe you didn't understand, it was hard to see where they were coming from and there was kind of a disconnect. And so what you've been doing is working on that and learning how to communicate with siblings, cousins, neighbors, school teachers. Like if you do have a child with issues, how do you communicate with that community so they get the right services? If this has more to do with your career, it would apply to Scorpios who deal with reading and books and writing and teaching, public speaking, blogging, anything online, social media. You may have been building some kind of base here and building up a powerful career, but there's been a very steep learning curve and some challenges along the way. But at the same time, if it is about your career, I imagine some of you are becoming very strong here and becoming leaders in your field. Some of you, especially you've been in here hanging in for a decade. Some of you are becoming leaders in your field. You're very knowledgeable. You've got mastery. And you're finally getting some respect. And maybe you've always had respect, but maybe now you're feeling more like the attention you get is more positive. You're getting more recognition, and this feels good, I would imagine. In this month, there are some interesting things going on in partnerships. So if you're dating, if you're just starting to date, you might meet someone online. And this is a very kind of a surprise. You meet somebody surprisingly online and it really rocks your world. And suddenly your whole partnership, area of your life looks very different. So if you're married, be careful. Be forewarned that there may be a flirtation out there or some kind of event that you have to navigate through where there may be a third party out there, not but on your side. Like, be careful, like if there's somebody at work, if you are committed to your partner, just be mindful there may be a third party here, somebody from work or the neighborhood or online. Maybe it's intentional. Some couples have open relationships, so if that's what you're looking for, it may be there. They're also here with a partner. It could be a business partner, a friend, somebody at work. Mars can also turn in the house of communication, can kind of turn angry. So you want, it's like forewarned is forearmed. You may have passionate things you want to say, maybe passionate about a topic. Just be mindful how you sound. Listen to yourself. It's okay to be passionate. I'm passionate all the time. And when the three of us start talking together and talking about ideas and things we want to do to help people, we can get really passionate, and it can almost start to sound like an argument because we're all like just passionate about it. And then, but we still, even though we know each other, we have to tone it down and remember that passion can start to veer into sounding angry or harsh or abrupt. And so you have to listen to yourself. And it's a lesson you learn over time. It's something you just pay attention to. So it's just a little more in the journey of this lesson that you've been learning. And you may be helping someone else with this, a child perhaps. In terms of the new stuff happening, energy has spread in January, started to spread into the area of your home, your family. Maybe there's some decisions around moving or who lives where. And so you might be thinking about a member of your family, like should they, especially because it seems like if a child or a roommate, or it could be a spouse or somebody you're living with more romantically, there's some decisions to be made around moving or who lives where. And so that's going on. Because there's a Mercury retrograde right in the middle of February, I would take my time with this decision. So around moving, I would use as much of February to drag out thinking something through before making a hardcore decision, because you may regret it later. Usually under Mercury retrograde, if you make too quick a decision, you might really regret it later. And it could be a long-lasting regret. So be careful. Now, of course, I always want to say here, especially with relationships and living with someone, if someone's being abusive to you, that I don't care about Mercury retrograde. You get out, and you can think about what to do later, but you get out of that situation. Don't let anybody hurt you or a child, you get out if safety is an issue. But if that's not the case, if it's more of just making tough decisions around moving or relationships or who lives where, then take your time if you can and act on your decision later in March. And I think you'll be happier with the decision that you make if you can wait. Sometimes we have to do what we have to do, and you just live with the consequences if you have to make a quick decision. But I would try to drag that out and wait. There could very well be somebody from your past coming in romantically. That kind of jives with that Mars I was talking about and the surprise in your relationship world. So if you're married and someone comes in from the past, that's an interesting development. If you're not married and you're single, then there could be somebody from the past who comes back. There could be a surprise new relationship start. But it seems almost like there's a person, even if it's a surprise and it's new, you may have known this person before, possibly. If not, Mercury retrograde rules apply, so take your time. Don't make a quick decision to move in together if you've only just started dating. Don't make a quick decision to get engaged, although at least engaged isn't married. Yes, you can undo an engagement, but be careful with making quick decisions. But I can definitely see your love life is kind of activated here. So a lot of Scorpios have a very activated love life. There may be some complication with a third party. Not for all of you, but in some cases, yes. In terms of business and your work, It's a great time to use your creativity and in terms like if you are an actual artist, you may be, developing a series of paintings or songs or an album or a cookbook, who knows, whatever your creativity is. But it could also show some of you starting your own business. And there's a very creative and or healing element. We've got multiple dogs here showing up for attention. There may be a healing, like, are you a healer? Are you creative? Are you intuitive? I would be asking if you're working with me personally, I would want to know these things. So healer is a very broad definition, but do you in any way, and whatever you do, does your work help other people heal? This is well starred at this time. If you are a healer, you may be putting a lot of energy into your work. If you are creative, again, a lot of energy going into this during this month. So it's a great time to be developing your range of products or painting away or writing away. It's a great time to do that kind of content work. In terms of launching anything, I would wait till late March. So just think in terms of timeline there. So you guys, in terms of what I've said to Scorpio here, does anything come up for you around what we can offer them?
It was interesting. It seemed like a lot of what you were saying at the beginning had to do almost with outside forces impacting against Scorpio. Is that something that they're going to be facing a lot during this time, or is that just sort of?
I think it's the way it feels. It's the way it feels to them. So I'm so glad you brought that up, because the way it can feel is like everyone around me is so difficult. I blame them. And then the reality is you can take control of the situation using mindset work, mindset tools to work with yourself. Because the only person you can ever control, even if you have children, the only person you can control is yourself. If there's this ongoing situation anywhere with anybody, then anything that involves people, even at work, the only way you're going to make progress here is to change yourself. The only way you're going to do that is to do mindset work. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
That's just how it was said to me.
Yeah,
and we do have artists here. Jennifer's built a website, which to me is an art form.
Oh, that is definitely an art form.
And Michelle says she's a visual artist.
Nice,
so
nice.
You're
good.
We love creative people. Then you guys might like our bullet journals. We have one that's a happiness one that works on mindset.
Yeah.
We just love the word happiness.
We do.
And one is
and
working on
itself.
Purpose, and one is working on money.
Yeah.
I'd love to think about money, so that's my personal favorite. But they have a creative element. Bullet journals have a lot of white space, but these Lee has developed coaching prompts, so they've got you thinking about each of those things. They're just 7 days, and it's fun. I have mine on rotation, so I'm always doing.
I know Mimi's really good
all the time.
Mimi's such a great example of somebody who was not in the coaching world, who never really thought about doing self-helpy kinds of things. And once she started implementing the tools, it was like they had superpowers, and like you develop superpowers. It's crazy. Yeah. And then you really stick to practicing them, which I'm so impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but they work for you like crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
But like we've been doing this stuff our whole lives. Like Carolyn's really into meditation, and I've been doing self-help work for a long time. But Mimi started doing it. It was like watching a rocket take off.
Yeah.
So
I like
the
journals. I like a task. Like I like to have something that I have to complete. I like to start it, end it, put it on my. So those work for me.
Yeah.
I need to be guided to be a little introspective and
so it can help a person who doesn't always do this kind of work. These give you some prompts and some guidance so that it's like, oh, I can do this little exercise. It's easy. They're easy.
Sneaky.
They're sneaky. Yeah.
I thought you were just having fun, and you were actually doing all this work.
Right. Yeah, they're more powerful than they seem. That's for sure.
So you guys seem like you have a lot going on this month.
There is. Whenever you see this bottom part of the chart lit up like this, it's all family and relationships and complications.
Scorpio seemed more complicated.
Yeah, it
This
is.
is the 8th one we've done today, right?
Yeah,
This one seems
yours is the most complicated.
just complicated.
And I
Yeah,
think
that, you know.
astrology plus tools
Yeah,
is
it's
the
power.
way to go. Yeah.
Super
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Just having astrology alone makes me feel kind of helpless. Like it's
Same
going to
here.
happen to me.
same here. Yeah.
Astrology plus tools makes me feel like I'm coming alongside of it and influencing
Yeah.
the outcome.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason I got into astrology, was to shift that for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and then got into coaching to try to help others. Because doing astrology readings for a decade, I could see in so many cases, especially repeat clients, like if they're not making progress just listening to the astrology, how can I help these people?
Right.
You know, because I know they're so smart, they're so sincere, and
Capable.
so much promise. How do I help these people get unstuck? And these tools really help do that. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. And if you follow Lee, you know she's got a great use of astrology and how she presents it and how she helps it. So
Thank you.
we know you know her.
Yeah. So thank you for being here, guys. We're going to move on and do Sagittarius next if you're interested. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
My family changed and my career. So.
Take a little
The
break.
dogs out.